What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to JohnnyKpicks. And in this video, I'll be going over my full card picks and predictions, along with the bets that I'm looking at so far for UFC Vegas 101 Dern versus Ribas 2 now. First things first, as always, start of the new 2025 year. Please hit that like button for me. Subscribe if you are new, or if you just haven't yet, subscribe. Subscribe. Turn on those notifications so you know when I put out my videos, when we go live on Wednesdays, all that good stuff. Leave some comments below on how well you did in 2024, what fights you're looking forward to for this card. I know the next card for 3/11, I believe, the pay-per-view next week is going to be amazing. And also check out my Patreon, patreon.com/JohnnyKpicks. I put out all my UFC early content, other bets like NBA, NFL. I know NFL is going to playoffs soon, so I'll have some bets up for that too. And any other stuff like that. I do cheat sheets for UFC. I'm going to start all that back up. I took a little break for the UFC break, so I didn't do too much stuff, but now we're back at it. And yeah, and speaking of my Patreon, where you can find out all of this, I'm going to do my UFC Survivor Pool Season 3. There it is. This will be the third one that I've done for my Patreon. So all you have to do to join, it's free. Just become a member, whether it's a core member, whether it's just a regular member to support, or if you want to join for free, that's also cool too. And then you can join. So check out my Patreon. It's up there, patreon.com/JohnnyKpicks. You can check out all the rules. Signups are beginning tomorrow, which is Monday morning. And please read the rules. And it's a little interesting. Tweaked it a little bit so everything can go get a little crazy, because we already had 2 seasons and it was fun. So we'll check that out. Hopefully you do that. And then that is all I'm going to say. So I hope everybody did have a good holiday and New Year's and all that good stuff. And I know I did. Like I said, I took a break from it. Just reevaluated everything, all that good stuff for my bets and how I'm going to bet this year and stuff like that. So let's get right into it. So we got 14 fights. And I know there was a couple of them recently when I was doing my breakdowns. They just canceled. The Gustafsson withdrew, and also Ashmuz withdrew. So those are 2 new fights. We'll get into those. But other than that, everything looks good. Knock on wood. So first fight of the night will be Joe Solecki, who's going to take this fight on short notice, like I said, against Nurilo Aliev. And yeah, so Aliev, very good wrestler. He does have okay striking. It's nothing terrible, but he is gonna try to wrestle you. He has good takedowns. He likes to chain wrestle. He pushes forward. He uses his striking to set up the takedowns. Very, like I said, he wants to wrestle. His last fight, was almost 2 years ago against Alves. It was a decision majority. I believe he got a point taken from him. That's why it was a majority decision. But other than that, he looked pretty decent in that fight. And then we got Joe Solecki, which we all know who he is. He is taking this fight on short notice. I think it was announced yesterday. He is a very good grappler. He's got good submissions. Takedowns are okay. His striking is kind of, I don't want to say it's lackluster, but he usually just throws one strike at a time. He doesn't really do any combos or anything like that. He does like his overhand right, if you want to say. A little low volume on the feet when he is, but he does seem, in some of his fights, he has slowed down in like the second or third round. But his takedown defense, though, isn't great. He does accept playing off his back. So if he is taken down, he can be controlled, or he doesn't try to get back up, one of the two. And that's the biggest problem in this fight, other than being short notice for him. I think Aliev gets that wrestling going, gets those takedowns pretty, I don't want to say easy, but fairly easy. And it's just going to be a wrestle fest for about 3 rounds. And I think he wins by decision. Can I see a late finish? Maybe, if so. But I think Solecki's going to be off his back for the majority of it, and I think he's okay with that. And he'll play it safe and defend and try to get submissions. I just don't think he's going to be able to submit Aliev. So give me Aliev to win. I'm going to say by decision. I don't know what the odds are. I know they're probably going to be high because he was already like a minus 400, 500 favorite against Ashmuz. So I'm going to guess he's going to be about 700 or 800. So maybe look at Aliev by decision. Maybe that's close to plus money, or maybe it is plus money. I think that's a good look. Other than that, maybe the overs. I don't know. So this fight's weird because, like I said, it's the short notice. So maybe he won't be a parlay piece unless you need something. I don't know. But I'll have to win by decision. Pretty confident in that one.
Next one we got is going to be Victoria Dudakova versus Fatima Kline. And Dudakova is well-rounded. She's got okay takedowns. She does struggle at times to get those. Solid striking, pretty decent volume. Likes to push forward early. Her cardio, she can fade in the third round. We've seen that happen in her last fight against Sam Hughes. It was a very close fight to the third round. And then she just didn't have that gas, if you want to say. But other than that, I mean, she's pretty well-rounded. And then we got Fatima Kline. We did see her a while ago against Jasmine, where she was in the wrong weight class, but now she is in the right weight class at 115 because she was very, very small against Jasmine. But she's very well-rounded. She's got good striking. She's a good grappler. She's got pretty good cardio. She always pushes forward. She did take that fight on short notice against Jasmine. She had good cardio all 3 rounds. She was just getting a little outstruck, and she was just she just wasn't the more physical fighter, and she might be a little bit more physical in this fight though. Where I'm at, good cardio, like I said. Her striking defense though does worry me a bit, but I think that's only going to be in this fight, at least early on. So I like Fatima Kline. I think she gets this one done. I don't love the odds of her being minus 800, maybe minus 300, but it's a little steep for me. I don't see a finish in this fight, so maybe the overs in this fight or Fatima Kline by decision will be maybe another look there. But I think Kline wins this one. I think she can get the grappling going. I think she has the better wrestling if she wants to, and I do think she's going to have a little bit more power in her strikes as well. So maybe she'll land the cleaner shots and it'll look better to the judges, and I think she'll win it that way. So give me Kline to win by decision. Should be a decent fight in this one. Next one we got is going to be Magomed. I'm going to butcher his last name. Let's see. Gadzhiyasulov. I'm going to say that. Versus Bruno Lopes. So we saw Magomed in about 6 months ago against Bredson Ribeiro. It was a little close fight there. But he's well-rounded, good striking, good power. He does have good takedowns and good wrestling when he's on top. Cardio can be a little bit of an issue. We did see in that fight he was slowing down a bit, which is why he was using a lot of his wrestling in the later parts. So he was kind of laying and praying at the end, but he was able to get the takedowns and do that. But he does have he's really dangerous early though. And then Lopes is making his UFC debut in this fight, coming off the Contender Series against Mikhail. But he's a solid striker. He does have good volume. He can get a little reckless at time with his striking. He likes to get in the brawls a little bit. But he does have the power to back it up if you want to say, okay, grappling, takedown defense is just okay. So I think this fight might play out as a striking fight early, but I think as the fight goes on, someone's going to be shooting for takedowns, and I think it's going to be Magomed, and I think he's going to be able to get the takedowns, and it's kind of going to, I don't want to say it's going to look like the last fight he was in, but I can see it happening. But I'm going to pick Magomed. I'm not super confident, but I do think he gets this one done. I think Bruno's pretty good, though. I don't want to completely write him off or anything. I think this will be a close fight. So if anyone's backing him, I don't mind it at all. I just think if someone's going to shoot takedowns, which I do think it's going to happen, I think it's going to be Magomed. And I think he's going to be able to get Bruno down and keep him down too. So give me Magomed to win. I think this fight goes to decision. I don't see a finish. I know Bruno was finished by Bredson Ribeiro, a year ago. That was his only finish, but I think this fight actually goes to decision, kind of like a boring decision after the first round, like the Bredson Ribeiro fight. I mean, there you go. I mean, both guys fought the same guy, and Magomed was able to beat him. So, if you want to look at that way, MMA math doesn't really work out all that often. But in this case, if you want to go with that, cool beans. But Magomed by decision, I'm going to go with that. I can see maybe a finish on either side. These guys are powerful, and yeah, we'll go with that. Next one. Ernesta Kareckaite, I'm going to say it like that. I don't know if it's right or wrong, versus Nicole Caliari. And in this fight, Kareckaite, solid striker. She does throw a ton of volume. She always pushes forward. She can be hittable, but she always throws 2 or 3 back. Good cardio, very good cardio. Striking defense, like I said, a little bit of an issue for her. Takedown defense is just okay. She's very tall and long for this division. She's 5'9" with a 71-inch reach, so that's pretty crazy. She is young, fairly new to MMA still. She's only got 6-7 fights. She did lose against Barboza, very close fight. But we got Nicole Caliari. coming off UFC, making her UFC debut, coming off a submission, which was a pretty decent win. But she's a very good grappler. She doesn't really have traditional takedowns like single doubles. She usually goes for trips, body locks, up against the cage, all that good stuff. Okay striking. She's going to be very short in this. 6 inches of height and 9 inches of reach. So she is not probably going to win the striking exchanges. She needs to get this fight to the mat. And I do think she probably will early. But the thing about it is I know the cardio is going to be there for Kareckaite. Again, I think this fight, the odds are a little weird. I think it should be closer to a pick'em. Maybe Ernesta has a slight edge because of the reach, but I'm going with Ernesta because it's such a big height disadvantage and reach advantage that I think Ernesta maybe gets taken down early on, but as the fight goes on, I think she's going to be able to stuff those takedowns a little bit better. She's going to have the cardio. She's going to throw more volume, and I think she might win those last 2 rounds. So give me Ernesta to win by decision. I don't see a finish unless, Caliari, I can't even say that name, can get like a finish early on and maybe get something like a rear naked choke or something if she gets Ernesta down early. So Ernesta by decision is my play, and we'll go with that. Next one of the makeup fights here, it's going to be Preston Parsons versus Jacoby Smith. I'll be honest, I like this fight a lot better than Gustafsson, but we'll go with that. So let's see. We got Preston Parsons. He's a very good grappler. He does have good submissions, okay takedowns. Sometimes he does struggle to get the takedowns. His striking is just okay. He's very tough. He's very durable. He kind of throws one punch at a time here and there. So he's more so the grappler. He wants to get this fight to the mat. His cardio, he does slow down a bit as the fight goes on, but he doesn't like death gas or anything. So you don't have to worry about that. So his volume might slow down a bit on the feet. But he's very tough. He's very durable. He's going to stick it out and, get to decision if he's losing. So he was finished by Daniel Rodriguez. And I think that was a short notice fight. So I don't want to put too much on that. That was 3.5 years ago. Jacoby Smith, though, taking this fight on short notice, making his UFC debut. He's a very good wrestler, very good takedowns, good ground and pound when he does get the fight to the mat. His striking is pretty good. It is, getting better as the his fights are going on. He's undefeated. He does have very good cardio. So I'm not worried too much about him making this fight taking this fight on short notice. So don't know the odds yet. Like I said, this was just announced yesterday. So I'm going to go with Jacoby Smith. I was going to go with Preston Parsons versus Gustafsson, but I think Jacoby Smith is better than Gustafsson. I think he's a better wrestler as well. I think he's a little bit more dangerous. So I think the more dangerous guy with the better wrestling, who I think can take down Parsons, is going to be Jacoby Smith. The one thing that will worry me, though, if this fight does get into the 3rd round, we'll see where Jacoby Smith's cardio is at. But again, I told you earlier, Preston Parsons' cardio, he does slow down a bit. So I don't know if he's going to have that much more cardio. So it's not going to be a big advantage, I think, either way. So Jacoby Smith is my pick. I'm going to say decision again. I know this is boring. I said all decisions, but Preston Parsons is very tough. But Jacoby Smith is very dangerous too. So it can go either way, but I'm going to go with a decision. Next one here is going to be Thiago Moises versus Trey Ogden. And Moises, very well-rounded guy. He's got good grappling. He's got good submissions. His takedowns are pretty okay. Striking is pretty good. He's durable. He's got good cardio. But something is just not there. It just doesn't mesh well. I don't know. He's got all the tools in the world, but I don't know if it's the intangibles he's missing. He does lose. Once he moves up in competition, he loses impressively. I think I picked him a couple different times. He beat Mitch Ramirez, which is not he should beat him. Ludovic Kline, he stepped up a little bit in competition. He lost pretty impressively. Like, he's not really beating guys that he should. I want to see better. Let's put it that way. I want to see better from Thiago because I do think the skills are there, but we'll see. And then we got Trey Ogden, who's, as what you're getting from Trey Ogden. You're going to get a good game plan, good technique. He doesn't do anything wrong. He's a very solid grappler, good takedowns. Striking is pretty good. He's got good leg kicks. He's got a good jab. He could be a little hittable. His cardio is pretty good. He does slow down a little bit in the third round. He is very durable. He does have some pretty good wins. You know, they're not against the greatest. I would say this is going to be, I mean, Zellhuber is probably his best win for sure. But he did lose against Bahamondes. So this is a little step up in competition for him. Moises, this might be a little step down in competition. So they're meeting at the right time. But I'm gonna go with the dog. I know he's older, he's 35, and you know, but Moises, man, like I said, I just something about him. I just can't trust him. And if you're gonna give me Trey Ogden as a dog that I know what I'm gonna get from Trey Ogden, time in, time out in every fight, I'm gonna go with him to win. I'm gonna say by decision again. Moises is very tough. I don't think he's going to be able to submit Moises, and I don't think he's going to be able to knock him out. I think the better striker probably is Moises, but I think this fight's going to play out on the feet. So we'll see what I'm sorry, on the mat. So we'll see what happens. But give me Ogden to win a very close decision. I can see that happening. Next one, we got Marco Tulio versus Ior Potieria. And Tulio's making his UFC debut. He's well-rounded, very good striking, good grappling. He's got crazy power in his hands. Okay takedowns, but he's probably going to want to keep. He might want to try to take this fight to the mat, but he does have good striking, like I said. And Potieria, he's a solid striker himself. He does have power. Kind of keeps his hands a little low. He can be a little hittable. Takedown defense isn't the greatest. You know, he does slow down as the fight goes on. He has been losing a lot in these fights. He did win against Robert Brzezinski, but I don't think Robert is very good at all. I think Marco's way better, but you know, he's losing a lot of these fights, and I'm gonna say he's gonna lose again. I think Marco can get this one done. I think he's gonna be the better striker. I think he's gonna be able to mix in the takedowns if he wants to. Not to say Ior is bad, but I just think there's gonna be more talent on the other side in Tulio. So give me Tulio to win. I'm going to say he gets a knockout. I'm going to say first round knockout, maybe second. But Ior is pretty tough, I will say. So it might be, maybe if this fight is set at over 1.5, maybe look at the over 1.5 in this fight. But I like Tulio to get this one done by KO. Let's say first or second round knockout. Oop, I'm going the wrong way. Next one, Jose Johnson versus Felipe Bunes. And Johnson's a solid striker. He's got good power. He's very tall and long for the division. 6 foot, 71.5-inch reach. His takedown defense isn't the greatest. That's one big red flag with him. He does have okay grappling, pretty okay scrambles to get back up, but he is primarily a striker. He does have some submissions on his record as well, but like I said, primarily a striker. Boons, you know, I would say he's pretty well rounded. He does have solid grappling, okay submissions. His striking is pretty good as well. He's not very technical. He can be hittable. He does slow down as the fight goes on. We did see that against Joshua Van, but that's the one thing here that is bugging me with both these guys aren't very trustworthy. Let's put it that way. But with the one thing that's sticking out to me from both guys is Jose Johnson's takedown defense and Felipe Bunes' cardio. So I know Johnson can go for 3 rounds. I don't think Bunes can. So Bunes is going to need a first or early second round finish, and I don't think it's going to happen. He is 35 years old too. I don't think he's all that good either, personally. And not to say Johnson's anything better, but I'm going to go with Johnson. I'm going to go with the younger guy. I think he might get taken down once or twice in the first round if Bunes wants to go that route. But if they're going to play on the feet or fight on the feet, whatever, I think it's going to be close. And I think Johnson's going to have the better cardio. So the longer the fight goes, I think it favors him too. So give me Johnson to win. I'm going to say second or third round finish, maybe probably knockout, because I just think Bunes is going to gas out kind of like he did against Van. I believe, I can't remember which fight. I did see Felipe Bunes fight, but I can't remember which LFA it was. It might have been this one, actually. Come to think of it. I think it might have, one of these two. I can't remember which one. So give me Johnson, like I said, second or third round finish. We got the main card here. We got Punahele Soriano versus Urosh Medic. And we got Soriano's a powerful striker. He's durable. He's got pretty good wrestling, but he doesn't use it that often. Takedown defense isn't that great. Doesn't have to worry about it in this fight. Luckily for him. He is this. I think this is his second fight, maybe third, or yeah, this could be a second fight at 170. He was a 185er. He did look pretty good against Miguel Baez, but Miguel doesn't really have, the greatest chin out of anybody, but he did get the win there. And we got Medic, very dangerous striker. He's got good power in his hands. I like to move up to 170 for him. Good volume. He can be left open for counters. Sometimes he gets a little too aggressive, so he can get rocked, and Puna does have the power to rock him. His cardio, he does tend to fade as the fight goes on, but Puna kind of does the same thing too. I think the better, more dynamic striker for sure is going to be Medic, but Soriano has the power to knock him out. And Puna doesn't really throw combos. He likes to throw that overhand right to land the bomb. Will he use some wrestling in here? Maybe it might be a good idea. I think he used a little bit of wrestling against Miguel, so that's a good look there. But I'm going to go with Medic. I think he's going to be, like I said, the more dynamic striker. Medic's takedown defense is okay, but if he does get taken down, he doesn't really seem to get back up very easily. But Puna doesn't really have the greatest control time either on when he does get takedowns. So I like Medic here, though. I think he gets this one done. I'm going to say by first round. I think someone gets finished in the first round. Let's put it that way. First round KO. So give me Medic to win by first round KO. Next one, we got Austin Bashi versus the prospect killer himself, Christian C-Rod. And we all know, if you follow me in my breakdowns, I have a beef with Christian Rodriguez for missing weight, beating all the prospects. He did not beat Isaac Dalgarian. I was very mad about that, but it is what it is. But we got Bashi, who's making his UFC debut. He's a very high prospect here. Well-rounded guy. He's got good striking. He's got very good wrestling and grappling, good takedowns. He got very good cardio for 3 rounds. And I like this guy a lot. I know he can be for featherweight, he might be a little small, but luckily for him, he's fighting someone about his size. So Christian Rodriguez, though, he is well-rounded himself. He does have good striking. He's got okay power. He does have decent scrambles and takedown defense and decent grappling. I don't think he's going to try to grapple here. He's going to try to probably stuff takedowns. Durable. He got finished against Arosa, but Arosa does have a sneaky guillotine, so he didn't watch out for that. But I'm going with Bashi. I don't care what anyone says. I mean, C-Rod, does he have a chance to win here and ruin another prospect? Sure. But I think Bashi might be better than all the prospects that he's beat. Raul Rosas, everyone, he's a very good grappler, as everybody knows, but it doesn't seem like he's progressing the way a lot of people do, or a lot of people think or want him to. And Bashi has the cardio and Raul doesn't. I think Bashi can wrestle and grapple for 3 rounds, and Isaac was only able to do it for a round and a half, and I think Isaac is a very good prospect. So yeah, Bashi to win. I'm going to say decision or maybe a late finish, but maybe round 3 decision can be a good look. But I like Bashi. I think he gets this one done. Pretty confident in that one. Next one, Timmy Chris Curtis versus Roman Kopylov. Get that on here. Curtis, though, solid striker. He's got very good boxing. That's all he does. He's a boxer. He's got good combos, good body shots, he can be a little hittable at times. He does like to defend a lot, so he can be a little low volume at times until he cracks you. Very good takedown defense, so he doesn't really have to worry about that in this fight. I don't think Roman's going to be able to take him down. But Kopylov, though, he's a very good striker himself, very good kickboxer. He's got power in his hands. He's got a good high kick. He's got good takedown defense, so don't have to worry about that. He can mix in the wrestling. We did see him do that against Cesar Almeida, but that was a very close fight. I would say his cardio is decent. Chris Curtis might be able to take over in the later rounds. He always has good cardio. This is going to be a fun fight. Very close fight, I can see. I think Roman will win the early rounds, and maybe Curtis can win the late, round 3. So it just depends on probably who wins the second round is going to win this fight. Honestly, I can say it like that. I'm going to go with Kopylov. I think he does. I think he's going to land more volume. I think he's the more dynamic striker. He's not going to just box. He's got good leg kicks. He's got good high kicks. He's got good punches. But he does get a little sloppy as the fight goes on. So it does worry me a bit here. Don't mind the price tag. I can see it. He's going to be younger by 5 years. Chris Curtis is also coming off of that leg injury I think he suffered against Brendan Allen. So that's something to think about here too. Give me Roman to win. I'm going to say by decision. I think this fight goes to decision. Maybe look at the over 2.5 too. Maybe that's a better price tag and maybe a better play than picking a side. You could also do Chris Curtis plus 3.5. I think that might be a good look too. I think he wins one round for sure. And the next one, we got Abdul Razak Alhassan versus Cesar Almeida, who we just talked about in the last fight. Alhassan's a powerful striker. Takedown defense isn't the greatest, but luckily for him, doesn't have to worry about it in this fight. He does have some wrestling he can use here and there. He's pretty durable. He can slow down a little bit as the fight goes on, but he is just going to go in there and try to knock you out. That is his game. Almeida, very good kickboxer. He does have power in his hands. He's got good volume. Takedown defense is just okay. He might have to stuff a couple takedowns here and there because Roman Kopylov was able to give everybody the blueprint of how to beat him. And even Eeyore tried to get some takedowns, and I believe he got a couple. So, and Eeyore is not really a wrestler at all. So that's how you beat Almeida until he can show you that he can stuff takedowns. But Cesar is very dangerous in all 3 rounds. So I think the longer the fight goes, I think it does favor Almeida. I'm going with Almeida. I think he gets this one done. I just think he's the more technical striker. I think he's maybe not as dangerous as Alhassan, but he's still dangerous. And I think he can still knock out Alhassan. He is 39 years old too. So it's not too far away from 36, but something about when you get 38 and older, trigger hits a lot of people. So give me Almeida to win. I'm going to say a second round finish. I think he gets the finish, maybe third round too. But it's going to be fireworks in the first round, maybe. So we'll see what happens. Co-main event now, we got Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Carlston Harris. We all know these guys. Ponzi, solid striker, good power. He's, I think he's a pretty technical striker. I mean, he's durable. He's got pretty good cardio. He doesn't really wrestle or grapple, but he can. I don't think he will in this fight. I think he needs to keep this fight on the feet. But, he is up there in age, as I was just saying. He's 38 years old. Both these guys are about 38, 37. But, we got Harris, well-rounded guy. He does have power in his hands. He's not as technical. A lot of winging, looping shots. He does have very good sneaky chokes, anacondas, guillotines, all that stuff. So Ponzi needs to be careful with that. Decent wrestling. He can get this fight to the mat. Good grappler. So maybe Harris is more well-rounded overall, but I would say Ponzi is the better striker, more technical. If the fight plays out on the feet, I think he wins this fight, 8 out of 10 times. So going to go with Ponzi. I know what to pick him. I kind of like it, honestly. But this fight can play out close. And Ponzi, look at his record. He's been losing very close fights to Muslim. I thought he won that fight. He did get knocked out against Kevin Holland, but he was looking very good until he got knocked out in that fight. And Pereira fight was very close. Like, he's losing split decisions a lot. So I think he can win this fight. So give me Ponzi to win. I'm going to say by decision. I don't think he's going to be able to knock out Harris, but, we've seen Harris get knocked out. He got knocked out against Chaos Williams. He got knocked out against Shavkat. So, and he was getting dominated by Jeremiah Wells until Jeremiah Wells decided to give up his neck and get choked out. I was there live, and that was fun because I had a good bet on Jeremiah Wells, and I was mad. So, yeah, give me Ponzi to win. I'm going to say by decision. And the main event, if I can click on it, right? We got Mackenzie Dern versus Amanda Ribas. And we all know both these ladies. Dern's an amazing grappler, good submissions if she can get those takedowns, because that is the problem with her. She cannot take down anybody unless they fall or slip on the banana peel or they make a mistake. Her striking at times seems like it's improved. Then at times it seems like it's gone back to the classic Dern where it's just wild and loopy and she's very hittable, but she's very durable. She does have good cardio. Her best win and was against Angela Hill. She looked like a woman possessed and she was annihilating her. But she got knocked out against Jessica Andrade. She didn't look that great against Amanda Lemos, but that was a very close fight. I had a bet on Lemos, and I thought she might lose that fight. But she did end up looking good against Lupi Godinez. But Lupi is another fighter that's just very inconsistent, and she has the tools, but she just doesn't put it together like one of those fighters. But Ribas, though, also well-rounded. She's got very good grappling, very good striking. Submissions are pretty good. Her takedowns are more so like judo throws or trips. She does have pretty good takedown defense, so I'm not sure if Mackenzie's going to be able to get her down. That's a problem. And I don't know if she's going to be able to submit Amanda because she's got very good submission defense. Amanda's very durable. She's got good cardio. She can be clipped. We've seen her get clipped and knocked down, and she does show damage pretty easily on her face when she does get hit. So something to think about there. This fight could play out pretty close. I'm going to go with Amanda Ribas, though, but I don't mind anybody taking a shot on Dern. Sometimes Amanda, she looks like she's doing well in the fight, and you think she's going to just steamroll them, and then she makes a mistake, and you're like, oh, shit, that could have cost her the round. And the judges seem to sometimes favor Dern a lot when she really doesn't win. So I can see like a 48-47 decision, maybe even a split. I know this fight's going to be 5 rounds. But I'm going to go with Amanda. I just think she's the better striker for sure. But if this fight gets on the mat, that's where it can get a little dicey, and we just don't know what's going to happen. But as the fight goes on, I do like Amanda. So give me Amanda to win by decision. I look at that and see what the price would be for that. I think that might be a good bet, Amanda, or by decision. But I don't mind the minus 200. I think originally when they were supposed to fight in December in Tampa, I think Amanda was maybe an underdog or close to it, or was it close to a pick'em? So we'll see. Maybe people realized, I don't know, or switched their picks or something like that. So that's what I got. Amanda Ribas by decision, but it could play out very close. But all right, that is it. That is all 14 fights for UFC Vegas 101, the first card of the year. Thank you, everybody, for watching. As always, hit the like button for me. We will have Defend Your Unit on Wednesday night. I will have that with Effie from Any Action Sportscast. So we're going to hang out with you, everybody, and answer your questions, tell you who we like, tell you our bets, all that good stuff. Have fun. So definitely check us out then. It'll be right here Wednesday night, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern, as always. And yeah, like I said earlier, don't forget I'm doing the UFC Survivor Pool on my Patreon. So all you got to do is go to my Patreon, which is up there, patreon.com/JohnnyKpicks. Signups begin on Monday, January 6th. You can sign up the whole week, but once the fights start, you cannot sign up. Please read the rules. You just go there, become a free member. You can become a member and support my Patreon. It's only $5 a month, not a big deal, or $5.99 a month. And yeah, that's all I got. Until next time, we'll see you then, and happy fight night.